Hi, I'm DJ, and I'm here with Ezekiel,
Hello.
and and you're listening to World Crafting,
World crafting.
where we come up with the ideas that Hollywood is too lazy to come up with.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So, on this
But you
episode,
you had an idea.
yeah, I have an idea. It was actually I had this idea a long time ago, and I wrote a short story about it, but I wasn't ever going to do anything with it. So it was just a post-apocalyptic world, basically. And I it's kind of like almost a video game uh feeling, but I wasn't trying to create it as a video game. So it's a post-apocalyptic city that is entirely encased uh or surrounded by this wall that goes, it's a sphere,
It's like a
so it
dome.
goes all the way around. Yeah, a dome. So it goes all the way around, and the environment is just completely artificial. And
Or
everyone,
like plastic trees, plastic grass, art or are you talking like artificially made? What do you mean by artificial?
no, like artificially made. Yeah,
So it's like it's
there
real
aren't
grass.
any trees, there aren't any grass.
Oh, there isn't.
No grass, no trees, no plants. It's just everything's
Everything's made.
metal and plastic and light and whatever else. Okay. Um, they just pump in oxygen from the outside world, filtering it, obviously, because supposedly it's a
Toxic.
wasteland out there. Um, so, but
Is it like a
here's the,
steampunk-esque or like a cyberpunk-esque kind of city inside? Like how modernized is it if you were walking
that's what
down?
I'm getting at. Okay, so yeah, it's slightly futuristic, right? They have like light rails and things like that. But here's the thing, it's completely controlled by the um upper class. So
Mm.
it's it's the the poor people, right, which is most of the people, they have they're all basically robots. They're all programmed. Um, from the time they're born, from before they're born, they're genetically um designed in the womb to be what they are needed to be, what's needed in the city, right? And so basically their entire lives are run by the hierarchy, and they have um these little like name badges that float above their heads,
Okay.
and they're just numbers. No one has a real name. They're just numbers and letters. Um and no one no one falls in love. You just marry the person you're programmed to marry, and then everyone only has two kids to replace themselves.
A girl and a
And
boy.
exactly. And then once you've had your two kids, you don't have any more, and you live, and everything is happens at an age.
Is there population control? It's like there's always a strict number of people inside this city.
Yes. Yes. And because everything is designated, everything is designed, everything is controlled. So it's, I don't know what the ages will be or what.
So at a certain age, they just kill you
Yeah,
off.
so it's like at 10 years old, you start learning whatever it is you need to know. At 18, you go into the workforce. At 26, you are assigned a spouse. At 30, you have your first kid. At 32, you have your second kid. And then the cycle just continues like that.
On and on and on. And but like
Yeah.
when you get up to like where you're 50 or 60, they just kill you.
Yeah. When you're like 60 or something, they just, euthanasia.
Just pull a Canada. Um,
Yeah, you just push you out your. I mean, you take a fall out of your bedroom window.
no, they probably like it's scheduled. Like you know that like you're scheduled. They call it the departure date. Unless you already have a name for it. I'm trying to
No,
like
I didn't. That's great.
they call it the departure date, and they even talk about it. Like when they're together, they'll be chatting. It's like, oh, just 4 more years until your departure date. It's like we'll throw you a big party.
Do you think they know what it is, or do you think it's like retirement and you get to go into the upper class and they're like, oh, I can't wait till I go up into the upper class, but really they just die?
So there's two angles. One, you can go that angle where it's like a very deceiving part of it, or the people are so indoctrinated and brainwashed to the point where they understand it's for the city.
Yeah.
They're almost like they're doing a service for the city as a whole. Like you could almost like
Yeah.
deify the city a little bit as if it is the purpose of life.
Yeah, like the city is God, basically.
It's like the city
Or is the
requires your
whatever the city wants,
your departure day.
what it gets. It gets whatever it wants, and everyone
Truly,
serves it basically.
truly the city's the upper class, the high class, those of people that run everything. And so all the plebeians or people that are working, they're genetically made for the job that they're going to be working, right?
Right.
And so you said you wrote a short story, and I don't want to steal. I haven't read it. I don't know it. So I don't. So this is only purely coincidence if what I'm about to say is parallel to anything that you wrote. So a story in this world could be that there was a hospital in this city, a very advanced hospital, and an upper class woman was having a child, and a computer malfunction or a malfunction of some sort happened, and it caused the child to die. And to cover the nurses and doctors, or basically it was like a doctor, and to cover her own skin, she found another child and replaced the baby. But the baby she replaced the upper class's child with was of a unmarked family's child that somehow has slipped through the cracks and has a purely human child that has not been genetically altered and controlled. It is just a pure child because she needed a pure child because the upper class don't have genetically modified children, unless that's not true, unless you have that in place. Do they?
Probably like they probably wouldn't genetically design their children, but they would
Enhance them?
just like ensure that they're extremely healthy. Yeah, like enhance them basically.
Give them more oxygen, more nutrients, more. So they're on average, they're smarter. On average, they're more fit. On average, they're healthier.
Yeah, basically they're everything that the rest of the people aren't.
So, what do you think about this child that is found from this almost nobody family? Like the doctor like calls one of her friends, like let's say he's a investigator, and he has jailed and unmarked somebody that does not have a number, and he's arresting him for having a baby of the same gender as the high class. And so she calls him, and he brings the child to her. And so she replaces the dead baby with the alive baby from the backwater family. or from the slum family. And then as it grows up, it is given more nutrients, so it is of a higher class. It's well taken care of. Just like you said, it is fed more nutrients. I've already said that. Then what happens?
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking, actually. When you said that, I was trying to figure out a way. That's really good. Yeah. Um, so the doctor calls the friend or whatever. Um, I think that child would be basically, um, the upper class lives in the high parts of the city and the lower class live in the lower parts of the city.
Yeah.
And it's like the rich, the hierarchy wants to keep the lower people miserable all the time. So it's always dark, it's always raining, it's always cold.
Mm-hmm.
But like above the cloud level is where the hierarchy live, and there it's always sunny and warm and just paradise basically. But and no one really cares about it. No one really cares that that's the way it is. But then this child who is from the lower parts is starts asking questions and wondering why this is the way it is and what makes these higher people better than the lower people.
Just questioning the ideology of the city like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Trying to figure out why things are the way they are and why everyone's okay with that.
Well, I would assume everybody's okay. Well, at least the people in the Undercity, they don't know any better. They haven't been taught, like they've been told a lie. And the people in the other class, they control the power, the information. I mean, essentially the nutrients, the life of the Undercity. Like they die without the upper class because they control everything in this controlled environment. They're in a dome. It's like a greenhouse or an aquarium. It's very
Yeah,
easily controlled.
yeah, exactly. And so this child is seeing an issue with that, and he doesn't understand why nobody else sees an issue with it because he feels out of place, and he has more in common with the poor people than he does with the upper people. Probably.
And somebody finds out that the child, he's always looked slightly different. Being in a city, there's not much major genetic markers that like separate the upper class from the lower class because they're all like an aquarium. It's not like from different regions of the world. It's all the same region. So he looks very similar but slightly different. And somebody finds out that the child is not from the upper class and tries to rat him out or expose that. And the child has to now, probably let's say an older, maybe a young man, has to kill the rat. And then they find out that he killed the rat and he has to escape the dome.
It sounds a lot like Moses.
Yeah. I was wondering how long it was going to take you. Uh, I shouldn't say it like that. I was, yeah, let's just say there's been a really good story told about something like this, but never in cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
think of like Sherlock Holmes. They do him. There's been like a modernized Sherlock Holmes done. So what would it be like if there was a modernized Moses in a cyberpunk domed theme? There's an upper class, a lower class,
It
post-apocalyptic
would be
world.
exactly what we're talking about now.
I know. We should explore the idea more.
Yeah. So how would he get out of the dome?
It's a great question.
There have to be passages, right?
Has
Because it's all technological. There's all sorts of vents and fans and solar panels probably, and there are all sorts of panels on the inside. So there's all mechanics and technology, and it's not going to work 100% of the time. So they have to make it so people can get in there to fix it, right? So there have to be service tunnels, basically.
maintenance patches, service tunnels,
Yeah.
systems in place for that.
So it would just have to be, um, it would just have to be, it would just have to know somebody. It would
Maybe
just have
growing
to
up,
know how to,
Moses was friendly with people that nobody else, though the upper class was never friendly with. He was friendly
yeah.
with the
So
trash guy.
that's it. The upper class have people working for them because they're not gonna fix it. They don't want to fix it. They want to be served. Oh,
He has servants.
exactly. And so the normal people don't care about the servants, but the kid cared about them, so he got to know them, even though there wasn't much to know.
And so
But
the upper class,
they're not very, you know, there's not much in the brain, so to say.
mhm, I was thinking of a police force-esque thing for the dome. I was thinking about a name for it. It called the Peace Corps. The Peace Corps, which I was imagining these 8-foot robots with arms that stretch down to their feet with like spikes and like laser weapons on them or some sort of like almost cyberpunk-esque robots that do not look peaceful in the slightest. And
Yeah.
when they detain somebody, they say something that's all I bet that's wrong. They say like, what do you think they say? And they
It
detain
says stop or you will be incinerated.
stop or you'll be incinerated. You are disturbing the peace.
Yeah. It,
Or, or it's like here
you are a threat to your own safety.
you are a
Please,
threat to your own safety.
please,
Something very manipulative, very
please
mind
refrain
control.
from any further acts of violence.
You are disturbing the peace. We are here to spread peace. And then they kill the person. Peace
Yeah.
has been restored.
As soon as the person lets the guard down, then pop goes the weasel, as they say.
Pop goes the weasel. So the Peace Corps is charged to find Moses. Moses is running. He has to throw himself into a trash compactor sort of thing. He gets dumped out with the trash, and the trash gets dumped out into the wasteland. Wouldn't you think? Or does it get incinerated?
It probably gets incinerated. It probably gets incinerated or recycled because I imagine that whatever it is, they have some pretty epic recycling capabilities. Because if they have genetic design for babies, then they probably have some sort of molecular reconstruction device that they can take the atoms and molecules and redesign them into something else.
So, do you want to have like a scene where he's in the trash? If you wanted to go that way, or we could go the way where he's friends with somebody, some maintenance people. But if we follow the
I
line.
like the trash. So he's friends with the trash guy or whatever because he's friends with all of them, but he knows that
They're hunting him though. They're hunting him.
the hierarchy won't go near the trash because they're like,
It's beneath
too
them.
messy and stuff. Yeah. It's beneath them. So he goes into the trash, but he gets out before he's,
Incinerated or renecular.
reconstructed into
Yeah,
something else.
yeah. Sounds like a pretty
It's
cool
like
scene.
crawls
He's just
through a ventilation tract.
he's running for his life. The trash compactor takes him down to like beneath the city, like in the depths, where they do all their molecular reconstruction, or they take him to a certain building,
Beast.
the belly of the beast. And there's the Peace Corps because they're everywhere. And they see him and they're tracking him and they're following him. And so he has to go like into the machinery part, and he's having to dodge these massive machinery hands and claws as they're ripping trash apart and like separating it. And one of the Peace Corps robots gets grabbed by one of the conveyor belt arms, and it gets ripped apart as the different parts of the Peace Corps robot get separated to be reconstructed later into a new computer. And he's like barely surviving, and you hear all the workers yelling, "No, don't go that way. That way is for anything that cannot be used. That way is the X, what was it? It spits everything out that is no longer of use to the
That's
city."
exactly where he wants to go.
And that's where he wants to go because there's no other choice. He's like, there's Peace Corps robots chasing after him. The entire city is looking for him. He killed the rat, and the rat was a prominent figure, right hand to I want to call it the king rat. I don't know. I almost want to go with like an animal theme here. The rat was the right hand to the snake, and the snake is the one who runs the city.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
I'm just spitballing here.
That's cool. That's exactly what we're here for.
Yeah.
So this snake really wants to get the child because he killed his right hand. And that's not cool.
Yeah, but
So
he's the son of the snake's. Maybe he's the son of the snake. Or no, he's
the
the
snake's
adopted.
having an affair.
No, no, because that doesn't make any sense. I shouldn't say it like
That
that.
wouldn't make any sense.
You're right. It makes sense, but because then it wouldn't be Moses anymore.
Oh, okay.
Moses is the one
So
child died and it was replaced.
so basically what you're saying is that the kid's mother is the wife of
Of
the
the snake.
snake
But the
or
snake
his, replaced mother or whatever.
But the snake wants him dead because it's like a a blemish on his perfect world that he has created for himself.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
the bugs, the plebeians belong in the dirt. They don't
Yeah, and he wants to keep it that way.
the animal
There's
kingdom
been an infestation.
infestation.
So anyway, the kid gets spat out of the city, only to find that the outside world is actually a beautiful, luscious world full of trees and grass and animals and no toxicness at all. Toxicity, no radiation, no destruction, no
Wait,
apocalypse.
it's not just a desolate wasteland?
No, it's not a desolate wasteland at all.
What? That doesn't make any
Exactly.
sense.
Exactly.
There was an apocalypse. It killed everything.
The city, the hierarchy was lying the whole time, and they told the plebeians that the city was there to protect them, from the radiation and the apocalypse, but the city is actually there to enslave them.
So he's out in this luscious greenery forest.
And he finds the shepherdess.
And he finds shepherds farming animals, like very old time, very old time esque. So he finds these people, and basically he joins up with them, and he learns their ways as he learns how to survive in this wilderness. Not how modernized do you think the people on the outside are?
Not very modernized. You probably look at technology as a burden, and you just don't need it, you know?
Was there an apocalypse? And it's just been so long that it's recovered?
Maybe.
Maybe there was an apocalypse and science caused it, and so there's been like a bunch of like stigmatization, like science has almost been mythologized through mythology that it's like evil, and so there's a bunch of like weird traditions passed down from generation to generation to where anything technologically based is to be shunned and avoided and destroyed because it was the reason that the desolations happened, the apocalypse happened. And so there's a bunch of these old customs that really don't mean anything, but they just don't like technology. And as he's with the shepherds, one of the shepherds takes him up to a high mountain, and he looks off on this plateau, and it's not filled with one dome city, but it's filled with dozens of dome cities stretching across the horizon.
Oh boy.
And that's where we end season 1.
Pretty serious. That would be pretty crazy.
That's where it ends right there. Season 1 of Moses.
You want to know what I call it?
What'd you call it?
I call it fake people.
You called it fake people?
Yeah. Of course, my story was completely different, but we have a good story here.
Do we want to just elaborate on your story?
Sure, I can do that. So basically, what I had was, so there's this, you know, it would be a lower level in the slums, you know, people, and basically, it's just this one character, and her designation is JJOY, and you know, she's just doing what she does, getting up, going to work, working, coming back, going to sleep, yada yada. She's only like 21, so she's been working for a while, but she's not married yet. She doesn't have kids.
She's not 26 yet.
Yeah, she hasn't hit that age yet. And one day, and like every day is the same, right? So basically, it would start with one of those montages of like
waking up in the morning, going to work.
Yeah, and then it'll just be like the same thing, but different days and whatever else. But anyway, so one day she's walking to her job or back to her house. I don't remember which it was. There's like this, something fell from the dome and hit the gutter above the walkway.
Uh-huh.
And it started leaking water because it's always raining. It started leaking water into the walkway.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's walking right next to the light, the light rails. basically just a train, but futuristic, so it sounds cooler. Um, and so she hits the water and she slips and she smacks her head on the light rails,
Oh,
and like I don't know, the electricity or the light or something like jump starts her brain, and all
oh,
of her programming just kind of like goes away.
all of the brainwashing,
It,
all of the.
yeah, exactly. It kind of resets her brain, and like her name badge starts glitching out, and then it disappears.
Oh,
And
she's unmarked.
sh- yeah, exactly. And she stands up, and it's like everything's different. Everything's so bright and vibrant and colorful, and it's she's doesn't know what's going on.
Does she have amnesia?
And
Amnesia?
no, she doesn't, but it's she programmed to see the world a certain way, but now that programming is gone, so she can see the world as it is, and she realizes how dystopian it is, and terrible, and she wants to do something about it, but she can't, because no one will listen to her, because everyone's still in the indoctrination, everyone's still in the process, and the
She can't convince anybody of what she's seeing.
exactly, she can't break the brainwashing. So um basically after a while she gives up on trying to convince people, and then like she kind of still keeps up the appearance so that nobody gets too suspicious while she tries to convince people that they need to do something, but it doesn't work. And then when something happens, like they come to assign her a husband or something, I don't know what it was. Um,
She says
she's
no.
just gone.
Oh,
No, she's just gone, and they can't find her anywhere, and it messes everything up because there's it's they're all numbers. They're all just numbers, but now one of the numbers is gone.
so you can't
So
hit.
at the end of the day, the bottom lines don't line up.
They don't line up.
Yeah. And then it just, as time would go on, it would get worse and worse.
Because that means two children weren't made.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And then
so, I
those
mean,
two children means that 4 children weren't made, and so on and so forth. Because they can't, it's all automatic, so they can't like put in a special designation. Well, they could, but the hierarchy isn't paying close enough attention to notice to put in, one couple can have 3 kids and make up the difference or something, but they're not paying close enough attention for that. But anyway, the story would follow Joy as she escapes the dome, and discovers that outside is not what she was led to believe, and it's this vibrant, beautiful place. It's just absolutely amazing. And she finds this old library
oh, cool.
that's just kind of destroyed, but it's still mostly intact. It's run down. I shouldn't say it's destroyed. It's run down and obviously not maintained, but it's still intact. And she just like reads all the books, and it's just
She learns the
wondrous.
history of the world.
Yeah, basically,
Where's the truth?
and it's just yeah, exactly. And it's just wondrous to her how there's so much, and the the hierarchy is leading the plebeians to uh leading them to be fake people while telling them they're real, when in reality they're just robots, brainless bodies. And that's why I called it fake people, because they're all cyborgs, basically.
Organic robots, not programmed like technology, but programmed in their brain.
Right.
But then and that was at the end of the short story?
Or
does she go back and save them? Or does she say
I hadn't gotten that far. It was, I hadn't gotten that far. She just kind of was in the library and reading, and that's where it ended, and it was happy. And she wanted to save them, but she didn't know how to.
Well, that's when she hears footsteps behind her on the cold, hard ground of the library. And she turns around and scares what looks like to be a tall individual wearing animal furs with a spear. And he gets scared and goes, "Huh, I didn't know that there was somebody else here." That reads, I don't know, maybe. Then she like reads him all of the books and stuff. Yeah.
Who is he?
I don't know, or you could do an old man, because that's always good. Good, Uncle Ben. And so Uncle Ben teaches her to fight.
Okay. Uncle Ben teaches her to fight.
And they learn in the books how to make stuff like laser guns and laser swords.
Maybe not those.
Maybe not laser guns and laser swords.
Yeah.
Maybe they learn.
Okay. Maybe this.
Okay.
She finds this old guy who teaches her stuff, like how to live, how to find food, how to do this stuff. Stuff you can read in a book, but you can't necessarily learn from a book.
You're book smart,
and
but you're not street smart yet.
Exactly. She's very book smart now, but the old man teaches her how to be street smart. And then she's like, I can do this. I can go and save them. And she starts going to save them. She starts going back into the city, but she gets kidnapped.
By who? Want me to tell you?
Kid from the first story.
The guy from the first story, Moses?
Yes. Moses kidnaps her.
And
he's like, what are you trying to do? And she's like, let me go. I'm trying to save these people. And they find out they're
both trying to save. They're both trying to save the people.
Yes, exactly.
That's that you brought them together. You brought them together.
Yeah, I just love bringing people together.
Brought it together,
and that's the end of season 2.
That's the end of season 2. Let's go. That's good. Okay. You want to continue? Do you have any other ideas? Because we could take this all the way. Because they have to save the people.
They have to save the people.
Think of the children.
They're going to save the people.
How are they?
Right. They need to build better lives for the children.
It's easy to save the people. To truly break an indoctrination, you must tell them the truth. People won't believe the truth if you tell them. You got to show them the truth. They got to open the dome.
So you just get a really big wrecking ball and the next time to find out what happens next.
I mean, yeah, but they'll get a big wrecking ball or the dome's open. They find a control panel. There's legends of the control panel that when it was being constructed, they constructed it in like little like layer shelves that like went up and then closed and locked like a vault door. But the vault door it can be opened. You just got to have the codes. You need the codes to open it.
The
but
right code.
the codes are locked in a secret location only known to the snake.
So they have to sneak back in and they kidnap the snake
They gotta
and they tie him to a chair and they interrogate him.
tell us, where are you hiding the codes? They don't say it like that, but you get
I was gonna
the
say, why are they German? But it turns out the snake is actually a vampire.
the vampire, and he breaks free
He's
and he
immortal.
steps on a bear trap, and for 5 seconds a guy runs out of the shadows, injects this vampire snake with a formula that makes him not a vampire, and then says, "I'm not supposed to be in this universe." Salutes Noah and the girl that I forgot the name of, and then he runs off to the distance, never to be seen again. Just a little quick.
I wonder who that could be.
That could be anybody. He's just gone.
Anyone.
And they were like, "Man, that guy's super competent. He was ready.
He's so competent.
He's so competent." And he runs off in the distance and just leaves, never to be seen again.
And the snake is just like, what in the world is happening? Because he's never had anything wrong happen. And now 3 different people have broken into his private quarters in one day.
That's crazy. They were like, "We don't know either, but tell us where the codes are." And the snake's like, okay. The codes are in this vault door. And so they open the vault door. They trip an alarm, of course. The snake laughs and go, "Mwahaha. Now the Peace Corps will come restore peace and murder both of you." But they find the codes. But the codes don't just open this dome. It opens all the domes.
All of them.
They open all the domes. And so it's like a mad dash to the control room. And they take the snake with them, of course. They're like dragging him. They tie him up, and he's just like bouncing on their shoulders as they run through the hallway. And the Peace Corps show up. They're like, "Stop, we will restore peace, or we'll by eliminating you." And then they put the snake in front of them. The snake goes, "Wait!" They use the snake as
the Peace Corps doesn't wait. The Peace Corps opens fire.
"You can't leave me hanging like that."
The snake gets shot, but then Joy also gets shot, and Moses gets shot. But Moses' wound is fatal, and Joy says, "No, don't die." And he says, "Quick, put in the code." And then she puts in the code, but then she gets shot, and all 3 of them die. But they put in the code, and all of the domes open, and the people are free, and the hierarchy gets destroyed.
The end.
And then Ben is there to teach the millions of people
That water outside, and he's like, "Welcome to your future."
Wait, back up.
We're back in.
I got it. Okay. Moses didn't die.
Moses doesn't die.
He just got shot. And then his people come and save him, right? After the domes open. And then Moses leads billions of people to a new land.
Yeah, but that's what happens in the original Moses story.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing.
I thought that's what we were going for.
That's what we're going for.
In the original Moses.
But you made it. You added her into the story, which changed the dynamic completely, which is really cool. So if people want to go read the other story, they can go read the other story.
Yeah, that's a really cool story.
It's a good story.
Worth to read.
All right, alternate ending. This is an alternate ending. Moses gets shot, a fatal wound. She lives, puts in the codes, opens the doors. Moses gets captured by the Peace Corps. And they genetically alter his body. They turn him into a cyborg and they brainwash him. They strap him to a chair and they make him watch um Baby Shark like 1,000 times, and he's just like, no, no, make it stop. And he gets brainwashed clearly. Um and then the cyborg him is hunting her and trying to kill her. This is in season 4 or
wow.
3. And now the domes are open. And she's trying to lead the rebellion. I don't know if we want to go that far. She has to like save him from the cyborg self.
She has to save him from his cyborg self.
Yeah, because he was brainwashed to kill her.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's an alternate ending. Let's not put it in there.
Yeah, and then she has to break him from his excuse me, from his brainwashing. But in order to do that, he has to, like, if he gets broken from his brainwashing, his cyborg self will start self-destructing, which will kill him.
Dude, that's even crazier. Like, she could save him, but in saving him, he dies.
He dies.
What do you do? What do you do?
I don't know. What do you do?
Well, clearly he dies, but it's in this way. She true love kisses him, clearly, because that's what breaks curses. He remembers her, but in remembering her, it hairwires. It hairwires everything. Everything's sort of like sparking and malfunctioning, and he's like on the ground, like dying. And she's like crying over his body as she cradles it. He's like, "Don't die, don't die." And he like raises a robotic hand and brushes it through her hair, and he's like, "I died a long time ago, but only just now am I alive." And then he dies.
Wow. That's a real heart jerker.
Yeah, dude. It's so good. So good. And then we end the season. And we end everything. Everything ends right there.
Everything ends. That's the last scene, the last third.
Just boom. Just black screen. Thanks for, like, just hit it with a thanks for watching.
What is this, a YouTube channel?
No, I mean, but you got to thank your audience for making it all the way through. They're a contributor.
I don't know, maybe not that, but I think, what do you think about this? Just
alternate ending?
Aesthetically. No, same ending, but it's like, so he says, "I died a long time ago," or whatever, and then the screen goes black, and then it just has the audio of him saying, "But now I truly live," or whatever, something like that.
It's so good.
You think that would be?
I mean,
I think that would be pretty neat.
It's still gonna hit hard
because it's like you expect it to be over with that, but then it says something else, and it's just melts your heart right into butter.
Right into butter. It jerks those tears right out of your little eye holes. Just jerks them out.
Yanks them out like a chainsaw.
Like,
boy, oh boy.
Man, what a
ride. What a roller coaster.
What a roller coaster.
The ups and downs, and enemies become friends, and friends become enemies, and
man,
alive.
That was crazy. We should thank our sponsors for this opportunity.
We should.
I'm gonna thank Incredible Quest. Thanks, Incredible Quest. A tabletop RPG that's based off a D20 system that allows you to basically become anything you can possibly think of due to the dadgummit, I was trying to like do it like super fast, but it didn't work.
It almost worked.
Due to the flexibility of the gaming system, allowing you to play in fantasy, sci-fi, and any other kind of adventure that you would like to play. It's still in development.
Like really
I'm
cool
working on it. I mean, I'm helping work on it.
Yeah.
And we also have an author that's supporting us. He's really cool. I read his first book. His characters are really fun.
Yes. All of those things and more. So much more. So go check it out. It's a fantasy book.
It's
about
about an island.
Yes. About an island.
I was surrounded by a giant hurricane.
Exactly.
And you can't escape. Actually, it's a bunch of islands. It's a bunch of islands, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a high fantasy.
Yes. And it's about these two thieves.
And a king.
Who are recruited by a king.
A king.
To.
And your weird daughter.
Yes. Yep. And his daughter.
Yep.
And they have to go find someone who is supposedly trying to overthrow the kingdom.
And there's old magic, and it's weird.
Yeah.
I won't give it. I feel like I'm spoiling too much. I haven't read the second one though. I'm going to.
Too. So go ahead and check them out. It's called The Divided Kingdom of Sunland and The Chaotic Kingdom of Sunland. It's on Amazon. The author's name is Nathan Wayne.
Thanks, Nathan Wayne.
Divided Kingdom of Sunland. Go read those books because they're good.
Thanks for watching, everybody, or listening. Mainly listening.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Join us again next time when we talk about something else.
It'll be another world that we will craft. And there might be bear traps.
But maybe not.
Maybe
but
not.
If there are, you'll never see them coming.
You'll never see. They're always placed at a really good spot.
Exactly.
The bad guys never see them coming. All right. Bye, everybody.